Okay, fourth grade, welcome to day 2 of expository writing. Let's refresh our memories. Yesterday, we looked at this prompt that you see on the screen, and we kind of dissected it. We took it apart and we looked at how the prompt is written in writing process form. And yesterday, we focused on that top portion, which is brainstorming and planning. So we read the box of information, and then we thought about how it related to our personal life, and we brainstormed a list and we made a plan. Let's read over that box one more time, okay? It says, read the information in the box below. Everyone has challenges in their lives. These may be problems we have to solve or difficulties we learn to live with. The challenges may be big or small, and they may be found at home or at school. Either way, we grow stronger when we solve our own problems. Think about the difficulties you have had in your life. And that's where we stopped yesterday. We brainstormed ideas, and then we kind of made a plan about the idea that we chose. Today we're going to take that plan and we're going to create our rough draft, okay? So the next piece of the prompt says, now that you've read this information, now that you've thought about this information, now it's time to write something. And here's what it says. Write about one problem you have had to deal with. Explain how you have changed as a result of overcoming this challenge. So, that brings us back to our plan, okay? The one problem that I'm going to write about is asthma. And I have to stick with one thing because the prompt clearly says choose one problem or difficulty or challenge. And then it says, after you choose one, explain how you have changed as a result of overcoming this challenge. So students, as you write today, your purpose is, number one, to tell about a challenge or a difficulty you have, but the paper is not you telling the story of that challenge. The paper is supposed to be of you explaining how you've changed as a result of that problem. How have you changed because of friendship choices you've made? How have you changed because you struggle in reading or writing? How have you grown and overcome your problems and learned to be successful in spite of having problems? That's the goal of this paper. Okay? And so what I want you to do today is I want you to watch as I model how to take my plan and turn it into a paper. All right? So the very first thing, and I'm sorry if I get shaky here for just a minute, but the very first thing I want you to notice is in my introduction, I wrote down several notes that I wanted to mention how I was diagnosed, the severity of my asthma, and give a sentence about my allergens, and then pose a question. Okay? So let's go to my paper, and I want you to just watch as I try to put those ideas into sentences, okay? So I'm going to start by saying, I remember the first time I muttered, quote, I can't breathe. I was in the 4th grade. And did not know I was having an asthma attack. This life challenge has changed me in many ways. Okay, so let's look at what I've written so far. I remember the first time I muttered, "I can't breathe." I was in the 4th grade and did not know I was having an asthma attack. This life challenge has changed me in many ways. Okay, so I'm looking at my plan, and I dealt with my diagnosis. You know, I haven't really told much about the severity yet, and I haven't done this, so let me keep going, okay? Let me see if I can address that. So I'm going to say, my sensitivity to allergens requires quick access to rescue medicine. Comma, and I require medicine to keep my asthma under control. Okay, did I address the severity? I did, but I did it in a way that also talked about my allergens, okay? So in other words, by saying my sensitivity to allergens requires quick access to rescue medicine. Let's think about that. If that sentence doesn't make sense to you, well, let's think about breaking it down. My sensitivity to allergens. Okay, allergens are things you're allergic to. And so obviously I'm very sensitive to the things I'm allergic to. And because of that, it requires quick access to my rescue medicine. If you have to be rescued, that means that something's not good, right? And so I'm allergic to a lot of things, and I have to always have my rescue medicine with me. And I require, that means it's not a choice, medicine to keep my asthma under control. So I didn't say I have severe asthma, but you can infer my asthma is severe because of the sentence and the text evidence I gave you, okay? The last statement that I want to probably make is I want to say overcoming my asthma has changed me in great ways. Okay, so I'm going to change my plan. I'm not going to end with a question. Okay, I ended with a restating of my prompt. All right, and that's very important in your introduction, to somehow state the prompt without it being boring. Okay, if I go back to the prompt, it says write about a time or one problem you've had to deal with and explain how you have changed as a result of overcoming the challenge. You don't want to say, I have asthma, I have overcome, I have changed as a result of asthma. That would be boring, okay? But what I did, if you notice, is I did restate my prompt right here when I said, this life challenge has changed me in many ways. And that I said it in a different way right here. Overcoming asthma has changed me in great ways. So twice, I let the reader know exactly what my problem was, but that this paper is going to be about how it has changed me and made me better. Okay? So, we are at 9 minutes into the lesson. Okay? I'm going to actually stop the video here. Okay, because I don't want to go too fast for you. I really want you to think about your prompt, and I want you to compare that to your plan, And because it's expository, we really have to just jump right into the middle by telling what our challenge or difficulty is. You need to state that, okay? And so it can be stated in a creative way, all right? In other words, I did not say, I have asthma and it is a challenge. But I told you it was my challenge by telling you I remember the first time that I said I couldn't breathe. Because I was in the 4th grade and I didn't know I was having an asthma attack. And then I tell you that that challenge has changed me in many ways. All right? So I want you, we're going to stop the video here, and I want your teachers to give you at least 15 minutes to work on your introduction today. Okay? When you're writing your introduction, you must clearly state your central idea. Okay? It doesn't have to be in the introduction, but most writers need to put it somewhere in the first paragraph. So I'm going to encourage you to find a creative way to do that, okay? Go back to your lessons the teachers have given you on good introductions, okay? And remember that a good introduction is going to grab your reader's attention, okay? It's going to be connected to the topic. And the reader is going to know for sure what your expository paper is about, because that introduction is so strong, okay? So there's many ways to begin an introduction, but the reader has to know what your paper's about, all right? If there are any questions when your teacher stops this video, feel free to ask her, and then I will check in with you tomorrow. Happy writing!